Transitioning to school means learning to be independent throughout their day, putting on and off their shoes, eating without help, unwrapping their food, opening latches and drink packs, caring for their own items, putting things away and identifying their written name, using a handkerchief or tissues. And also that big block over there in the corner, the toilet block. Being independent to actually walk over there, being brave enough to walk in on your own, or to be standing outside and waiting for your friend, that can be very overwhelming. The carrying of a bag every day, and the communicating and responding to your teacher, not only in the classroom, but also in a playground when they're spoken to. Scaffolding learning with support and understanding needs patience and empathy. Hopefully, you would have an understanding of what a transition statement is. A transition statement is a document that your children, when they arrive at prep, will receive from the childcare service or from the kindergarten. If you're not familiar with this and you are working closely in a room with children that you feel need some extra support, I could suggest that maybe you speak to your main teacher in the room and ask if you can have a little bit of a talk about whether the parents are willing to share that with you. The parents sign off on this document to be allowed to be shared with the school, and because confidentiality concerns need to be maintained at all time before sharing the document. This document can provide a great platform for you to know lots of other things about the child. So where the child actually is at in regards to their development progress, the child's strengths, the child's interests, and also their concerns and whether they do have a little bit of anxiety. So that's called the transition statement. If you are unfamiliar with it, might be a good conversation to have with your classroom teacher. So when we first arrive at school at the beginning of the year, you guys have already gone through this. We would have been allocated your classroom or what specific age groups that you'd be working with. So these are just a few notes that I put down if I was going into a new environment, what I would sort of hope to be able to access and be able to put to my skills and knowledge to be able to support those children and the teachers in that environment. So to know the school policies, to take time out to make sure that you have an idea of what the school policy actually says about supporting additional needs children. Talk to the teacher about who you'll be working with, and also what is the teacher's expectations, not only for yourself and for her program and how the routine of the class will go, but also around the boundaries in regards to how she wants you to, or he or she wants you to work with that child. Do a little bit of homework and revisit some of your understandings about what a diagnosis or an undiagnosis may look like, whether that's looking at the behaviours or the characteristics. Just refresh yourself with the disability terminology and what that actually means. With that, you could also research about funding support, and because you just never know when families might stop you as the person working closely with their child and ask them whether there's any extra support that you can access for their child. So knowing about additional needs support and the requirements could mean also that you need to know about this little person's triggers. Has this child been in an ECDP, so an early childhood development program? Most of our ECDPs are attached to our state schools. So, and if they have been in an ECDP, did they come with an individual education plan? And if they didn't come with one, has the classroom teacher in the class that you're working in at the moment, has she already had that meeting with families, and have they already put together an individual education plan for that child? We like you to reflect on your practice when you're working with children, particular children who have challenging needs. So thinking about your voice tone, thinking about your body placement in regards to, are you too close to a child? If a child does have triggers, or a child is losing patience or is finding it really hard to stay on task, if you stop and reflect on how close am I sitting to this child? Do you think this child maybe have some sensory perceptions that is maybe causing the child to feel a little bit uncomfortable or maybe unsafe? So just revisiting yourself and doing a check on yourself on where your body placement is. Also around your beliefs, your biases, and also your empathy levels. Remember that a strength-based approach is positive support for connecting to the child. Without building that strong relationship, both with the child and also with families, it's very hard for that child to feel like they can trust you, to feel like they've got something worth to say and that they want to learn.